Hi, everyone. I'm so honored to be with you today. What a blessing. And we wish Reverend Janice happiness and joy wherever she is. And what a pleasure to be with all of you and to be here to speak my heart today. And that's my intention, to kind of be unplugged and to just share a little bit about my work, share some stories, and the richness and the depth of um, what I have come as a chaplain to really understand. And that is the respect that I have for the human journey. As a chaplain, I'm at the front seat of traumatic things that happen with people, and I work at a county hospital. So that's everything from illness to gang violence, uh, life altering, life changing. I get to be their minister. And I am just so humbled every day and honored every day with what I get to do. I feel very blessed in my work. And, many people ask me, well, how do you do that? Doesn't it break your heart? And I said, oh, yes, it breaks my heart and it opens my heart at the same time. But who are we in that? Who are we? We are creative, spiritual beings who get to choose who to be, really. Because we may not be able to choose the things that happen to us, but we certainly get to choose who to become through it all. And so life is a moving, growing, evolving journey. And what I know for sure is that is what we do. We learn and we grow. I'm going to start with a story by Dr. Rachel Naomi Remen. It's in her book, My Grandfather's Blessings. And this is kind of how I think about life. And then I will talk about us in life. But this is so powerful. She has a story in that book about the oyster. It's called The Pearls of Wisdom. And she talks about the oyster, and the oyster is soft and vulnerable and open and really fragile. And without the outer covering of its shell, it could never survive. And so the oyster has to open up its shell to breathe the water to live. But what it knows when it does this is that grains of sand will enter in. And even though that's a part of a painful experience for them, it creates translucent layers over time of being with this pain and merging with it and allowing it to be a part of its experience. And it never becomes hard inside just to keep it away or to pretend it's not happening or to blame someone else for their pain. They remain soft and vulnerable and fragile in this shell, knowing that pain is a part of their experience. But the joy of that is that the pearls that become from the translucent going over and back and forth and breathing and opening and closing and opening and closing and living and learning, it becomes a pearl. One of the most precious stones, right? I mean, who doesn't love pearls? And so that is the story of our life too. And I think from maybe non-physical perspective that before we came here, we talk about afterlife. We don't always talk about before life then, because I know life is a circle, not a line. So from non-physical perspective, we're like the oyster and we know we're going to come into life. And maybe we know that the pearls are worth it. Maybe we know ahead of time that we are going to go through difficult things and that it's just a chapter in our book of life, and that the pearls of wisdom that are gained through the experiences that we have, as long as we remain open to the gift and the lesson, will be worth it for our soul's growth, for the evolution of who we are. And I see this in the hospital all the time. It's like life is a school. We hear that a lot, but I don't think it's a school for math and science. I think it's a school to learn self-love, to learn compassion, to learn forgiveness, to learn who we truly are instead of who someone else might tell us that we are. I think life is a school, and when someone lands in a hospital or has something serious to face, that is extra credit, extra opportunity for exponential growth. And so I get to sit in this space with people, and I've learned so much from the real teachers, them. And so many times I think I'm going to go into someone's room and help them, and I leave blessed beyond belief, because they are where they are, and who they are is who we wonder we would be when life is good. When life is good, it's really easy to say, oh, and to be with, and to trust something higher. But sitting at bedside and holding the hands of people in the throes of the most difficult things imaginable, it astounds me that their strength and their power lies dormant. And when they need it, it emerges. And there is such powerful growth. I mean, life gets your attention. When you're in the hospital and you're facing four walls, you really think about things that maybe in busy life you wouldn't be able to do. I had a patient tell me that she was a workaholic. She said all she did was work. It's all her focus. She felt so alive when she was working. And then she got sick. And she said, I cannot believe I never took vacations. I ended up in the hospital for 3 weeks. She said, I would have rather been in Tahiti. I got the lesson. So there's a small example of life-changing opportunities. And I really believe and see and trust and know that things really do happen for us, not to us. I'll give you a couple of patient examples that just my memory comes with a few stories to share with you about what I mean, because the opportunity for growth is so powerful when we go through something difficult. And I don't know about you, but I have never learned anything that resembles pearls of wisdom so much in the times of my life when I'm blissed out. It's through the difficulty. It's through the difficulty that we become more, that we understand more, that we expand, that we grow, that we lift, that we reach an upper room within us. And so one of the patient stories that I will share is about a gentleman who was in his 40s, and he had cancer, and he was dying. It definitely was his dying time. And I asked him one day, and he kept me at arm's length for quite a while. And then we gained some trust, and he finally let me in. And at that time I asked him, I said, so was your journey through cancer all terrible, or was there something that provided you a gift somewhere, something that helped you grow somewhere, something that is undeniable as a blessing? And he said, oh yeah. He goes, I used to be the biggest jerk. He used a different word, but I will not. He said, I didn't care if you were my spouse, my kid, my boss, my friend. If you weren't loyal to me, I would throw you out like a piece of garbage. Oh, okay. And so then I said, and the gift and the lesson was, and he said, I've learned that not everybody is meant to be with you for a lifetime. I've learned that some people come into life to finish a sentence, or a week, or a month, or a year. And so my next question to him was, well, would you mind sharing with me the association that you created as very important between safety and loyalty. And his response was, my mother left me when I was 3. This has been unhealed my entire life. I created a wall and I isolated myself, and I wanted nothing to do with anyone unless I had over the top reassurance that they wouldn't leave me. Yeah, powerful. A beautiful book by Rabbi Leader. It's called More Beautiful Than Before. I really love that book. It's an easy read and it's filled with pearls of wisdom. And what he says in that book is, when you're going through hell, don't leave empty-handed. Get a gift somewhere. Well, wouldn't it be like the worst thing ever to waste an aha that you could have had? Especially for this gentleman. What a powerful connection. What a powerful healing. And I think that's the pearl right there. The connection that he made to what he couldn't heal in his entire life, he healed through the opportunity of this extra special schoolroom called the hospital. Lots of growth, lots of healing. And even if there isn't a physical cure, there is always a healing. Always a healing. One of the things I tell patients so many times is that you are more than what you're going through in your physical body. You are much more. And what I value about the hospital I work in is that they honor that your medical condition is your physical body. But to have someone like me employed there, they understand that patients need to heal from the level of being treated as a whole person, not just a medical condition. And so the whole person is mind, body, and spirit. And so their body has a lot of attention, but their spirit does not. And their spirit is scared. And for many people, their religion hurts them more than helps them by what they are taught. And what's I'm so grateful for as being a hospital chaplain is that the alignment that occurs between me and the patient at the time that we meet, it holds the alignment for getting super real and super honest and super vulnerable, just like the inside of the oyster. That's where I meet people. That's where they are when I meet them. Another patient story that comes to my mind is someone who was later on in her life. She had a cancer too, and she's still with us, but she was amazing, and she was in the hospital for months at a time, and all of us couldn't understand her amazing attitude. She just loved being there. She loved all of us. I mean, I felt like we were best friends after months of support. But the thing about this is that I had no idea from when I met her that she was a very famous and very beautiful model. And I didn't know that. And I looked her up, and she was absolutely stunning woman. And she was in a lot of movies. And the interesting thing about her, oh my goodness. The interesting thing about her is when we got to have that conversation about, what is it? Where is it? Who is it within you that can climb to the positivity and the joy and the gratitude at such a difficult chapter in your book of life? And she said, you have no idea how much I love this hospital. I'm like, okay, please tell me. Most people don't say that. She said, getting cancer was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I hear that a lot. Yeah, it's surprising, but not when you realize that there is a pearl, something beautiful in everything difficult. We just have to find it. And so she said, this is the first time in my life that I've received so much love. and no one needed anything from me. It was always about my face. It was always about my body. It was always about an opportunity to make a lot of money. In my own personal family, people would call me only because they needed money. I didn't feel loved. I felt like a workhorse in my own family. My parents, my siblings, they all took from me, and I gave it thinking that that's what love was. Yeah, best thing that happened to her, she had a healing. There might not be a cure, but there certainly was a healing that she understood unconditional love. And maybe that's what she came here to learn. So these stories, they're powerful, and they validate the fact that this is a quality Earth school, God qualities, divine qualities. And the things that are hardest for us to learn are what we are here to learn. If you have trouble loving people, you are here to love people. So we can have clues when we turn within. We can find peace and stillness. And that's what we do in Centers for Spiritual Living, so is we know how to go there. But we can also ask questions and get answers, right? God is within us. And so many times I love to tell my patients that if you are God, the truth of who we really are is a part of God, then when I put myself down, I'm putting God down with me. So one of the most important things that we could do is lift ourselves up and to love ourselves, because I am very clear. I am so clear that loving God means loving myself, so I can have greater space within to love God. When I am all mucked up with too much gritty sand within me, and I'm having a hard time with myself and not accepting myself, or living my fear of abandonment, or not knowing what unconditional love is, not healing my stuff, not looking at my work, not being self-realized or self-actualized, that is when I don't have enough space to really be in the joy of the greatest pearl there is, the experience of God. Not just the knowing of God or the talking about God, but the experience. That's what we all want. That's what we're all hoping for, is to feel something, not just to talk about something. And so I would like to close. I would like to talk to you all day. This is so wonderful, but I would like to just close and go into prayer after I read the paragraph of the story of Pearls of Wisdom that I shared with you about the oyster. It goes by so fast, doesn't it? It's like, I don't want to leave you, but here we go. This is Dr. Rachel Naomi Remen, her story of Pearls of Wisdom that I shared about the oyster. And she says, these are the places where wisdom begins to grow within us. It begins with suffering that we do not avoid or rationalize or put behind us. It starts with the realization that our loss, whatever it is, has become part of us and has altered our lives so profoundly that we cannot go back to the way things were before. Something in us can transform such suffering into wisdom. The process of turning pain into wisdom often looks like a sorting process. First, we experience everything. Then, one by one, we let things go. The anger, the blame, the sense of injustice, and finally, even the pain itself, until all we have left is a deeper sense of the value of our life and a greater capacity to live it. And so we turn within and we open our hearts, knowing that God is the sand and the pearl. God is the water and the breath. God is the outer protection and the inner destruction. God is the love that we all are, that the truth of who we are spiritual, having a physical experience, not the other way around. We don't love because we have an elbow or a nose. We love because our essence and our spirit is connected to that which is so much greater than we are. It is the upper room. It is the sky. It is the moon. It is the water. It is the clouds moving as life. It is the opportunity at every moment of every day to get it differently. Therefore, become freer and more expansive within. I know that this is the truth of each and every one of us, that we are guided and that we are moved and called and can rest in this place of knowing that we are not alone, that God is the center of us, and that we are the center of God too. And that when we have difficult experiences in the chapters of our books, it's only a chapter, it's not the whole story. The whole story reminds us that there is meaning and purpose in everything we go through, and that God is right there with us. And so I know for each and every one of us that our life is powerful in opportunities for growth and learning, for opportunities to love more, opportunities to be in divine quality, especially the ones that do not come natural to us. And God is right there. And so I know and I trust and I become with all of you more and more every day, setting an intention for love and life and life and love to continue to grow me so that I can be of service, that I can bring the light, but I cannot bring that which I do not know I have. And so I give thanks. I give thanks for books like Rabbi Leaders and for Dr. Remen, because so many pearls of wisdom comes through wisdom that is written by those connected. What a powerful way to spark growth and learning and evolution to our consciousness, because God is everywhere, in every word, in every thought, in every disease, in every healing. And so I give thanks for knowing all of this. And I lift this prayer on high, trusting it all. And with a heart that is full and grateful, I always give thanks for being in service to love. And I let it go and I let it be so it can come back to all of us as power and grace as we continue to always be loved by God. And so